Heidi, an abridged extract from Heidi by Johanna Spyri.
Tell me all their names,
Heidi said. Peter knew these by heart, so he began telling Heidi the name of each goat in turn as he pointed it out to her. It was not long before she could herself distinguish the goats from one another and could call each by name. There was the great Turk with his big horns, who always wanted to butt the others so that most of them ran away. Only Greenfinch, the slender, nimble little goat, was brave enough to face him and would make a rush at him 3 or 4 times. Then there was little white Snowflake, who bleated so pitifully that Heidi already had several times run to it and taken its head in her hands to cheer her up. Just at this moment, the pleading young cry was heard again, and Heidi jumped up running and, putting her arms around the little creature's neck, asked in a sympathetic voice,
"What is it, little Snowflake? Why do you call like that, as if in trouble?"
The goat pressed closer to Heidi in a confiding way and left off bleating. Peter called out from where he was sitting, for he had not yet got to the end of his bread and cheese.
"She cries like that because the old goat is not with her."
"Who is the old goat?"
called Heidi back.
"Why, her mother, of course,"
was the answer.
"Oh, you poor little Snowflake,"
exclaimed Heidi, clasping the animal gently to her.
"But do not cry like that any more. See now, I shall come up here with you every day, so that you will not be alone anymore."
All of a sudden, Peter leaped to his feet and ran hastily after the goats. He dashed through the middle of the flock towards that side of the mountain where the rocks fell to a great depth below, and where any thoughtless goat, if it went too near, might fall over and break all its legs. He had caught sight of the inquisitive Greenfinch taking leaps in that direction, and he was only just in time, for the animal had already sprung to the edge of the abyss. All Peter could do was to throw himself down and hold on to one of her hind legs. Greenfinch, thus taken by surprise, began bleating, angry at being held so fast and prevented from continuing her voyage of discovery. She struggled to get loose and kept on trying to leap forward. Peter shouted to Heidi to come and help him, for he could not get up and was afraid of pulling out the goat's leg altogether. Heidi had already run up, and she saw at once the danger both Peter and the animal were in. She quickly gathered a bunch of sweet-smelling leaves, and then, holding them under Greenfinch's nose, said coaxingly,
Come, Greenfinch, you must not be naughty. Look, you might fall down there and break your leg, and that would give you dreadful pain."
The young animal turned quickly and began contentedly eating the leaves out of Heidi's hand. Meanwhile, Peter got to his feet again and took hold of Greenfinch by the band round her neck from which her bell was hung, and Heidi, taking hold of her in the same way on the other side, they led the wanderer back to the rest of the flock that had remained peacefully feeding.